Good morning. This is KELOLAND on the Go with all you need to know in news and weather as you start your day.
2 men are behind bars this morning in connection to a weekend homicide in Rapid City. Police say officers were called to an alley behind the 100 block of East Boulevard North just before 5 o'clock Saturday morning. Authorities say a man was found dead from injuries consistent with an assault. 29-year-old Jacob Jumping Eagle and 28-year-old Craig Returns from Scout are charged with first-degree murder. The incident is under investigation. In an update to a story we first told you about over the weekend, 3 people are now behind bars in connection with an animal cruelty case. Brookings police say the home in a 900 block of Tumbleweed Drive was searched Friday. 31 dogs and 4 cats were found inside. The animals were taken to area animal shelters. 57-year-old Deborah Schulte, 26-year-old Jordan Schulte, and 28-year-old Brandon Schulte are facing 35 counts of cruelty to animals. A Brookings business is out hundreds of dollars from a law enforcement scam. Brookings police say an employee was contacted by someone pretending to be an officer with the South Dakota State Police. The scammer said the employee's help was needed with a sting operation to recover money stolen from the business. The employee was told to take cash from the business, drive to another business, and load gift cards with varying amounts of money. Brookings police remind the public that no law enforcement agency will contact anyone by phone to ask for personal or account information or payment of any kind to assist with police activities. Now let's get a check of our weather with meteorologist Brian Karstens, starting the week on a warm note. Brian.
Yes, we are. We're back to the 80s, which for most of us now is above normal for this time of the year, but not necessarily hot weather for several of us, too. 83 Sioux Falls today with a south wind 10 to 20. 81 our high in Aberdeen, but we are close to 90 in Pierre, 92 degrees in Phillip, and it looks like some of those 90s might pop up in the southeast tomorrow. We'll talk about that. Also, some very important rain chances on the horizon, so we'll discuss that, too, in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you very much, Brian. Well, 84 South Dakota National Guard troops have returned home from a 9-month deployment in the Persian Gulf. Governor Kristi Noem, U.S. Representative Dusty Johnson, and Rapid City Mayor Jason Solomon welcomed home the members of the 109th Regional Support Group on Saturday.
The unit was on active duty serving in Kuwait and Iraq. The soldiers were supporting base camp operations as part of Operation Inherent Resolve. 3 people from Lower Brule, South Dakota recently got the chance to participate in New York Fashion Week.
The couple and their daughter had a chance to be in this spotlight as exactly who they are themselves.
For us to be able to do it as a family is such a dream come true.
60-year-old Lael attends Lower Brule High School. New York Fashion Week was September 8th through the 13th. The school year is officially up and running in KELOLAND, and one man is making sure students staying at the Sanford Children's Hospital don't fall behind in their coursework.
Brad Thorson is a retired principal who now spends his time teaching patients out of their hospital rooms. He works with a home school district to set up a lesson plan.
A lot of times I get assignments from schools for these kids, and like I said, we just spent some time working on those assignments. Not only that, but in hope that when they do return back to school that they're not so far behind, they can kind of keep them going and progressing with their school.
The school teacher position at Sanford is donor-based.
For the second straight year, Steve Stricker has won the Sanford International. On Sunday, the 3-time champion shot 16 under 194.
He registered his second straight 66 with 4 birdies and an eagle on the day. The victory is Stricker's 6th this year on the PGA Tour Champions.
An eastern South Dakota community had an unusual visitor over the weekend. Flandreau police shared this picture of a young bull moose. Authorities say it traveled through parts of town on Saturday before taking a rest.
South Dakota Game, Fish and Parks and Flandreau police asked the public to not approach the animal and call if it comes back into town. Officials say moose are a rare sight here, but they have passed through the area before. The closest moose populations to South Dakota are the Bighorn Mountains in Wyoming and the Turtle Mountains in North Dakota.
That's a look at some of our top stories.
Now let's get one last look at your weather with meteorologist Brian Karstens. Brian?
All right, our forecast here today. Well, numbers this morning in the 50s and 60s. We're on our way into the 80s today for many locations. I would say Pierre could even be a little warmer than that, closer to 90. Rain, not too likely yet. We're kind of in a pattern where we're going to hold the dry weather trends for a little while longer. It looks like tonight, overnight, will be generally dry. There could be some rain on radar south of Sioux City getting into Tuesday here, but I don't expect that to be an impact in Kettleland. Those 90s, though, showing up. And well, given all that dry ground out there, I wouldn't argue a whole lot with that. The next thing here, well, let's watch and see what happens on radar going into mainly Wednesday, I would say. We do have some opportunities for some scattered showers and thunderstorms beginning at that point. What's likely to happen here is we'll have a frontal system that'll come into the picture, probably retreats back as a warm front as we get into Wednesday, and that frontal system will tend to kind of magnetize or focus some of that rain chance. So you'll see some clusters of showers and thunderstorms rolling along that feature, possibly spilling over here into the Minnesota side of the border. Again, I wouldn't advertise necessarily widespread rain, but it should be around. And then this whole thing will kind of regroup as we get toward the end of the work week, Thursday night, Friday, in western South Dakota. Typically, a lot of times on a pattern like this, these upper level features will slow down. So I want to be careful about the timing on how fast to move that rain into places like Sioux Falls. Could be a couple of days of watching it kind of dance around, and then eventually we'll get there. This whole thing will kind of break down. It'll happen this weekend. Again, we'll give you more timing details throughout the week, but I'm inclined to say Saturday, pretty good odds of rain. Already we have Sioux Falls in here at about 70% chances, and this upper level low, once it gets here, it's probably going to be spinning in our backyard for at least a couple of days, and so we're inclined to get some wraparound moisture on the back side of that low, where it will obviously be cooler once we switch the winds to the north. And the bottom line is we're actually going to use our rain gauges, and I'm not talking just a few folks here. I mean, it's going to be some good widespread rainfall. Obviously, we've run some deficits most of the summer, so the ground is just going to soak this up. I'm pretty convinced of that. Again, the upper level pattern, there's the low, the parent low there in the Pacific Northwest, and it's kind of a textbook scenario here. You got a classic low coming out of the west, and oh, did I say the Gulf of Mexico's actually opened up a little bit? Looks like that'll be some moisture to tap into. So lots of details. You'll hear more about it throughout the week, but I just want to plant that thought in your mind that, yep, we're going to be looking at these shower and thunderstorm chances in the near future. 85 today, Mitchell, your forecast. 80, Brookings. 80 also in Marshall. Your 7-day forecast. Declining temperatures into the low 70s by the weekend in conjunction with the rain chances that are going up in probability. We start in that 20 and 30% range Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for Sioux Falls. Aberdeen will even be higher than that, kicking this thing off here. Thursday, 40%, Friday, 50% chance of rain, Saturday, 60% chance. Keeps going into Sunday, too, there. Pierre, Central South Dakota, a lot of the same ideas. Your heat pretty much contained to the first couple days of the week. And then we'll start to idle these numbers down a little bit. And it's clearly at the end of the forecast, much cooler. We'll stay in the 60s in Rapid City. And we've been above normal on rain most of the summer in Rapid anyway. So we'll likely get some more rain. Looks like Thursday, Friday, and into Saturday. Check out more details online at KETHLELAND.com.